So the Russian philosopher, well, not philosopher, thinker, Bakunin, appeared on the scene, who in Europe, who was very much a fervent revolutionary, and declared that there should be neither God nor master, and argued for a form of collectivism in which people receive according to the amount of work they do. He was also somewhat destructive, in my view. But in fact, he also declared that to destroy is to create, and he was linked up with some rather unpleasant, in my view, terrorist characters who wanted to overthrow the state with sort of revolutionary violence. Whereas in my own view, that you can't force people to be free, that violence is the ultimate form of coercion. But I digress from looking at this historical development of anarchism. But Bakunin was also important in setting up the first international working men's association, where there people who following Proudhon's line were involved, but also other authoritarian Marxists, particularly other authoritarian socialists, particularly taking Marx's line in his Communist Manifesto with Engels. And they tried to centralize. It's very interesting because they wanted to centralize the committee. They used authoritarian tactics, which Marxists ever since have tried to achieve. And we saw this in the worst expression of dictatorship, with Marx calling for the dictatorship of the proletariat, ending up with the dictatorship of the party and of individuals. And Bakunin pointed out that Marx had created a central committee into a monstrous state with himself in charge as the chief. But he couldn't control the movement, and so finally had it sent out to New York, arranged a meeting in New York where no one could attend. But other international organisations developed, anarchists, particularly in consciously anarchist, in Switzerland, various conferences. And another great Russian thinker, Kropotkin, had another Russian aristocrat who rejected the sort of Tsarist regime, came into exile into Europe, and he had developed much more in a communist direction. And whereas Bakunin had said to destroy is to create, Kropotkin was much more creative in suggesting that it's only in building that we demolish. So it's important that creative aspect of building and making something new, rather than smashing it and destroying it.